Right, okay. So, it's finally here. The Wales firebreak lockdown comes in this Friday as people are ordered to stay home and shops and hospitality are closed. It's about time. Wales firebreak lockdown will run from Friday, the October 23rd and 6 p.m. until Monday, November 9th. First Minister Mark Drakeford has ordered people stay at home for 2 weeks to break the rapidly increasing spread of coronavirus in Wales. A firebreak lockdown will come into force in Wales from this Friday, October 23rd, and run until Monday, November 9th. Yep, this should have happened sooner. This is what Boris has failed to do because he's an idiot. The thing is, right, and I understand that this lockdown is kind of something that people have been hesitant to agree with because they're worried about, businesses and things like that, and I get that. But the problem is businesses would be in a better place if these had been happening sooner because they're short and sharp and have a longer term effect so that they just can happen less frequently so businesses can run more, functionally for longer and more often, so they wouldn't be screwed so much. Mr. Drakeford said that people must work from home unless they are critical workers. All non-essential retail, gyms, leisure centres, bars, restaurants and hospitality must close. Community centres, libraries and recycling centres will close. All indoor and outdoor gatherings with people you don't live with are banned. And primary schools will reopen after half-term, but secondaries will shut for all but years 7 and 8. If you break these new laws, you may be told to go home or removed from where you are and returned home. You could have to pay a fixed penalty notice of £60 that will rise to £120 for the second breach. Or you could have a criminal proceeding brought against you, and if found guilty, you will have to pay a fine. I don't think they've actually put a number on that one. Personally, I don't think those are strong enough. £60, that's not going to deter people. I do have a funny feeling that not enough of these are going to get handed out. But I guess they are hard to enforce, since the government and the people that work in the government don't like to follow their own rules. So I guess we'll see. Wales has set up a 300 million economic resilience fund to help businesses hit by the lockdown. So small firms in retail, leisure and hospitality which have to close will get a one-off payment of up to £5,000, and every firm covered by small business rates relief will get £1,000. I think that's okay. Considering how many businesses are going to have to close, I think that £5,000 to each business outright. And I've just been watching his press conference, Mark Drakeford's press conference on the news, and he has said that it's all automatic. Every business that is forced to close and stuff will just get the money. It's not like they have to apply for it or go through it. They just get given the money. So that's good. At least they're supporting the businesses in some way. £5,000 is not a lot, but at least it is something. It's better than Boris has been fucking doing. Let's be honest. Idiot is probably going to do a 180 very soon now that Wales has done it. Mr. Drakeford said it had been a difficult decision for the Welsh Cabinet. He said, "We meet again this morning and have reached the difficult decision to introduce a 2-week fire break starting at 6 p.m. on Friday this week. It will include the half-term holiday and cover 2 weeks ending on Monday, November 9th. The fire break is the shortest we can make it, but that means it will have to be sharp and deep to have the maximum impact on the virus. Between Friday, October 23rd and November 9th, everyone in Wales will be required to stay at home. This means working from home wherever possible. The only exceptions will be critical workers and jobs where working from home is simply not possible. All non-essential retail, leisure, hospitality, tourism, business will close. This is the same as during the March lockdown. Community centres, libraries and recycling centres will close. Places of worship will be closed for normal services, except for funerals and wedding ceremonies. As the virus has taken hold, we have said repeatedly that children would be our top priority if further restrictions are needed, and education must continue. As a result, childcare will stay open. Primary and special schools will reopen as normal after half-term. Secondary schools will reopen after the half-term for children in years 7 and 8. Pupils will be able to come in and take exams, but other pupils will continue their learning from home for an extra week. Universities will continue to provide a blend of in-person and online learning. In the same way, we are asking everyone to stay at home. If students have reading weeks or half-term, they will also need to stay at home in their university accommodation. So, I think the length of it, 2 weeks, is just about right. I think 2 weeks is enough for it to have a huge impact. But the only way it's going to work is if people follow these rules. Do I think people are going to follow the rules? No, I don't. I think people are not going to follow it. Oh, another thing as well. This is going to be a bit all over the place, but obviously it's been said that it's a fixed period. That basically means that once these 2 weeks are up on November 9th, the lockdown will be lifted. There is no extension. It is just a fixed period. So for 2 weeks we have to follow these rules. After that, can do whatever we want within the rules. But yeah, I think 2 weeks is long enough, especially with the rules that are going to be in place. It's basically going to be like the March lockdown. That's the best way to look at it, I think. Do I think this lockdown is going to work? I don't know. I would say if I knew that everyone was going to listen to these rules, I'd say yes. 100% absolutely. This lockdown will curb the increase in the virus, and it will help us, and we should keep doing these incrementally every month and a half, 2 months. I don't know if everyone's going to follow these rules. I do think that most people who have got a brain will follow them, but I think there are those idiots that tend to think that this is all fake or that it's not real, may not follow it as stringently. As for all non-essential closing, I get it. I think that's quite understandable considering the fact that it's the same as the March lockdown. If your business is not an essential retail, which is unfortunate, you've got to close. I think it is disappointing, and I think it is frustrating for a lot of people. And I completely understand that businesses are getting pissed off because one minute they're hearing one thing, the next minute they're being told another. And the one thing I have to give the Welsh Government is at least they're providing some form of assistance to every single business, which is something that Boris has not done. And the thing is, I'm taking a lot of shots at Boris because he's the Prime Minister of the UK. He should have been doing all this shit sooner. The economy is screwed because of that idiot. Rishi Sunak has not done a very good job when it comes to balancing the Treasury. And yes, I completely think that in the beginning, when the first lockdown was done, that they did a fantastic job of how they approached this virus, like having the lockdown, putting the stringent rules in. I think they did fantastic. But as time has gone on, they have proven that they don't care. And all they care about is money. And I get the economy needs to start, but this is what we should be doing across the country. Circuit breaker lockdowns to separate everything so that the virus can die down and we can come back to some form of normality for a bit of time before another circuit breaker has to happen. Do I think this is going to give us a normal Christmas? I don't know. Maybe. If people follow the rules. The fact that schools are going back, I don't know. I think it is good that education is still open for primary and special schools. That's excellent. And for years 7 and 8, because obviously they've been disrupted a lot this year when it comes to education, so I get it. I don't know if it's a good idea, though. Maybe. I don't know. Universities, people having to stay in their accommodation, that's rough. But unfortunately, we've all got to make sacrifices again. Mr. Drakeford urged everyone to follow the rules. He said, "It is with a heavy heart that I once again ask everyone to stay at home and businesses to shut. We are all tired of coronavirus and the many rules and regulations we all have to live with. We all want to see an end to this pandemic and our lives return to us. Unfortunately, we do not yet have a vaccine which will allow us to do that. So this is our best chance of regaining control of the virus and avoiding a much longer and damaging national lockdown. We have a small window of opportunity to act. To be successful, we need everyone's help here in Wales. This is the moment to come together to play our part in a common endeavour to once again protect the NHS and save lives." Yep. I agree. I think it's unfortunate. I think that, it's a situation where there's no good outcome to this. The lockdown is unfortunately going to hurt some people, but if you had the local restrictions, it would still hurt you. So, not really much has changed, we have to push on through, and that's just something we're going to have to carry on with. Let's have a look at some of these comments. And what happens after the lockdown when numbers of cases start to rise again? Another lockdown? Just kicking the can down the road waiting for a vaccine which may not come, and if it does not take many And if it does, could take many, many months to distribute. See, people like this come across as impatient. No offense. Yes, it is kind of like kicking the can down the road, but what else do you want them to do? They haven't got a vaccine to distribute. There's no way to stop this. You can't be like, let's just go back to normal and let the virus rip. No, because it would kill a bunch of people. What is wrong with people? Like, just fucking accept the fact that right now we are just waiting on a vaccine. So as because of the fact that we are waiting on a vaccine, we just have to wait. There's no easy way of doing this. And unfortunately, because of the local lockdowns, it's made people resentful of these kind of issues and these kind of... And this is something that I will talk about very quickly. I think the fact that the local restrictions were put in place, people have just don't care anymore. They don't want to listen to any kind of rules because of the local ones. If circuit breakers had been introduced quicker and sooner, and the local fucking stupid local restrictions that, you know, Boris went with were kind of just not done, I think people would have a lot more patience and understanding for these circuit breaker lockdowns, because it's just a short period of time where we have to follow these rules. But instead, because of Boris and his idiotic cabinet making these stupid local lockdown restriction rules, people are just not willing to listen anymore. And I get it. I'm completely in sympathy with people that don't want to listen to these rules anymore. Because Christ almighty, we've been listening to these rules for over 6 months. How much longer do we have to endure these stupid, idiotic decisions? And the thing is, I have been calling for circuit breakers and fire breakers since we came out of the first lockdown, because I just thought it was too soon. I think they opened up places too soon, and that's why the virus then peaked. The thing is, in the summer it was okay. The heat was suppressing the virus. We all understand and know that. The moment that the winter and autumn started kicking in, there should have been plans in place for strategically placed circuit breaker lockdowns so that we, as you know, the population, could continue to live our lives as normal as possible after the short periods of time of circuit break lockdowns. But they didn't do that. Instead, they left all the borders open, allowed everyone to keep travelling and mingling, and the virus spread. I don't know, man. I'm glad that this is happening in Wales. I feel like Wales has clearly got a better head on its shoulders right now. But I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be enough. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed this video and this article talk. I'll catch you in the next one.